They're all fake. If there's any other gods, then they're all fake, and they all deserve lowercase g's, lowercase l's. Yahweh is called God of gods and Lord of lords. Verse 48 through 49. Then the king appointed Daniel to a high position and gave him many valuable gifts. He made Daniel ruler of the whole province of Babylon, as well as chief over all his wise men. At Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be in charge of all the affairs of the province of Babylon, while Daniel remained in the king's court. Brad.
For God in the Bible, it's Jehovah.
Jehovah, another name. Yahweh is one. Yeah. Right on, thank you. So he gave Daniel great and valuable gifts, and was made ruler over the province of Babylon, given high authority as well as chief over all wise men. So in ancient times near the east, it wasn't uncommon for foreigners to come and be important in the realm. It wasn't common for someone who's not of that land to come in here and be part of that. Can anyone name some? Does anybody know another example of somebody who came into a land that was not part of that land and became in the realm? Jesus? Joseph in Genesis under Pharaoh. Or, Ron, you got one? Mordecai. Mordecai in Persian, and that's Ron's Bible study. And he talks about Mordecai not being of that land, comes in and he's part of that, the royal palace. And after he was appointed in this position of power, he requested for his friends, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, to assist him and to help him. He didn't forget about where he came from or about who he came with. He didn't let all this rewards get to his head. He knows he couldn't handle such high responsibility without proper help, without capable assistance. And he knew the best men for the job and chose them. A good leader, a competent leader, never does all the work alone. A good leader knows how to delegate and supervise. He knows how to humble himself and consider himself as an equal, even with a higher rank of authority. Right here, Daniel surrounds himself with people he trusts. They share the same faith, the same goals, and the same past experiences. And just like here on the ranch, we all come from same experiences. We all come from similar backgrounds. And we all help each other here. And we build each other up here. So that's my Bible study, and that's chapter 2. Now let's get into chapter 3. Gotcha. Thank you guys. So, chapter 3. Now I've said before that I said in Daniel that the book of Daniel is not in chronological order. As I've stated many times, we have chapter 1, and then in chapter 2 it kind of goes back a little bit. Not before chapter 1, but in the middle of chapter 1. In this case, chapter 2 and chapter 3 really go hand in hand. And if you want to understand chapter 3, you would completely understand chapter 2. I feel that you guys are all aware of what's been going on in chapter 2. So, we can get into it. So let's just try the first paragraph right now and see how we do on time. Can I have a volunteer to read, somebody who hasn't read yet, to read chapter 3, verse 1 through 3? Philip.
King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, 60 cubits high and 6 cubits wide, and set it up on the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. He then summoned the satraps, the prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials to come to the dedication of the image he has set up. So the satraps, the prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it.
Thank you, Philip. So I just want to point out that right now this is about 16 years later. Now, I said it's in chronological order, but I didn't say it was right back to back, because at this point he just built a giant statue, which we know doesn't happen overnight. So in my research, this says the 18th year of his reign. And in chapter 2, we were at the second year of his reign when all of this dream stuff occurred. So this is about 16 years later. So Dura, or Dur, is a prefix to a city name. Dura or Dur means walled area. It's just a prefix. You would put it before a city name, and examples that I have are Dur Karashu or Dur Sharukin. I don't know what those names are, but they were part of the research in their other provinces in Babylon. I don't know these cities, but right now it's impossible to locate the area in present day of Dura. Dura was just a plain. Dura was just a flat piece of land in between mountains. So there has been some discoveries that might connect, which we'll get into in just a moment, that might connect what's been going on here. But nobody has been yet to confirm that that land is what this land is. It might have a different name right now. So Dura is just a prefix, and it's not an actual city. The name Dur would be used, the name Dur used would be as unclear as using the name San in a city in California. That I copied because I don't really know what San means. So if somebody knows what San means, San Francisco, Saints, right. But as far as the purpose, it's just the name, you know?
A lot of them are based on actual
people, right?
Yeah, they're people, but they're old
churches, missions.
Not missions. There's something else. Yeah, I forgot what they're called. Like a lot of them, like Santa Monica, they were old, basically churches, but they're
yeah, missions. Okay, so Dura is something similar along that lines, where Dur or Dura would be used in the prefix of a city name. Just as common as it would be San in a city in California. So he builds a gold statue. And can anyone know, does anybody know what that statue is?
They're talking about King Nebuchadnezzar's statue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made out of gold, you know why?
No, do you know what it was?
Oh, it was
What the statue was?
The statue of Nebuchadnezzar's dream.
Yes, so nobody's been able to confirm that, but it is, from my research, it has been believed that that was his influence of that dream. Now, my question right here was going to be, can anyone guess why it was gold? And Robert was just about to tell us, so go ahead.
Yeah, it says, I just find it all interesting, because after what he had said in verse 47 of chapter 2, about bowing down and God being God and Lord of Kings and everything, 16 years later, apparently, he makes a statue of gold that would signify that there were, or asserting that there would be no other kingdoms after his. So it's like everything went out the window, and he still wanted to believe what he wanted to believe, it seems like.
Exactly. We know that this statue was a gold head representing Babylonian Empire, and as it went down, the interpretation was that anything below the gold and the silver was what overthrew the kingdom above it. So knowing that this was a message from God, and knowing and being a witness of how powerful and almighty and smart and knowing all, what is the term? Omnipotent? The one who is all knowing?
Omniscience.
Omniscience? God is omniscience. God gave somebody the ability to see what was going on in his mind that he didn't share with anybody. He was a witness to what God's capabilities were. So, knowing that, still, is because he's saying that the empire will last forever. He's saying that, knowing that this is what God says, I'm just going to make a statue that could probably stop whatever Daniel's God is saying. I'm going to prevent the future. I'm going to change the future. I'm going to change what is being prophesied. Now, this was an interesting little story I wanted to share with you guys. My stepdad, he's very smart. He knows a lot. He's a history major. And he's a huge Beatles fan. Huge Beatles fan. And he gave me this date. And if you guys are really interested, I'm going to get that date when I come back. And if you guys really want to know. But Paul McCartney. Everybody knows who Paul McCartney is, right? Paul McCartney, many years ago, had a dream. And he had a dream that on October 10th, I want to say, but I'm sure it's October, but I can't remember the day. But on October, the day, he died in a tragic accident. And he woke up and he